All right. Hey, welcome. Let's have a Bible study here. My name's Mike Holmes. I'm the interim pastor here at Sinclair Baptist, and good to have you on board. We're in episode 6 of our study through Nehemiah building the wall, and glad that you're able to be here. If this is your first time with us, just follow the instructions. It goes real smooth. We're going to start out just with a real simple thing. We want to read what we're going to be discussing here. So we're in chapter 2, or actually the very third, this is the third time in chapter 2. So go ahead and I'll pause it here, and let's take a moment and let's read in the entire chapter 2. We're going to focus on, though, the last three or four verses, so that's kind of the emphasis there. But go ahead and take some time to read chapter 2 of the book of Nehemiah. All right. Hey, we're back. All right. Hope you made it through that without any problem. I've got some questions here I want to give you, and kind of go back into verse 17 and verse 18. And this is kind of I think it's kind of a simple question, but it has a significant kind of follow-up to it. So let me read this for you here. And I'll put these on the screen afterwards, and then you can pause it and discuss this. But who is doing the speaking in verse 17 here of chapter 2? And then who is doing the speaking in verse 18? So there's a difference, okay? And here's the question: what is the significance of the difference there between who's speaking in 17 and what they say, and who's speaking in 18 and what they say? They say very similar things, but what is the significance of that difference? All right, let's pause and we'll come back. All right, hope you had some good discussion there on that one. We've got another kind of one that sort of goes back and covers all of chapter 1 and 2, and I want to give this one to you here, and then I'll put it on the screen as well. In chapter 1, Nehemiah was burdened to take some action. In other words, those guys came and spoke to him. Okay, so chapter 1, the very beginning, burdened to take the action. He was not in Jerusalem at the time. He was somewhere else. I think we've discussed some of that, and you may need to look that up if you don't recall that. But in chapter 3, he finally gets his team beginning to form. Okay, so here's kind of this thing. From the time he got the burden until the time the team was starting to form and it looked like they were going to get things done, what all did he encounter between the initial awareness of the problem and the formation of the team that was ready to begin tackling the problem? And the answer here is what all he encountered. It's what all did he encounter, both good and bad. So there's really kind of two levels here. There were some good things that happened, whatever. But see if you can kind of like this, boom, 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 boom. Very good study here in what all he encountered from the time he got the burden, heard about things, until the time he put together the team to start fixing the problem. So tackle that one in your group there. All right, let's get into this next one here. This is the verse that where there's the criticism starts to show up here. The Sanballat and Tobiah and the guy named Geshem, and we find that in verse 19. And here's just the simple question here: when criticism comes to a person's spiritual pursuits, and this was a spiritual pursuit. They were doing the work of God here. And you probably are involved in doing the work of God in many ways, in your family and with others. But when criticism starts to come, what are some of the tools and tactics that are often used? So what are some of the tools and tactics that are often used when criticism comes? You'll see many of them right here in these verses. So take a look and discuss that a little bit. All right, we're back for our last question. We always have 4 questions here. No bonus question today, just 4 simple ones, because a couple of these probably took a little bit longer to kind of work their way through. And we get to the last verse of the chapter, and it's one of those kind of victory verses. It's where things kind of come together, and I love the verse. In fact, I'll read it for you. And he answered them and said unto them, the God of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore we his servants will arise and build, but ye have no portion nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. Okay, so just a really kind of good thing. So here's the verse. In verse 20, Nehemiah expresses great confidence. And what made him this way? What was it that made him this way? What were the elements that made him confident of what was going on? And then the follow-up kind of question for this, and there are many examples of this. Who else in the Scriptures had great confidence when they were doing the things of God? Who else in the Scriptures? So take a moment and go to the Scriptures and find your answers there. All right, and I hope you had some good discussion on that. As always, we like to close out in some prayer. And so what we have found is taking time to pray together is just a very good thing. So I'd like to ask you and whoever you're doing this with, if you're with a spouse doing this, or if you're doing this in a small group setting, that each of you would take time and just to say a word of prayer. I think one of the things that you can pray is, help me to have great confidence in the things I'm doing. Another thing that you might pray is, protect me from some of those tools and tactics that the devil uses. So those are just simple things like, Lord, help me not to get discouraged, things like that. So let's take a moment and pray around your table. Pray everybody out loud if you can, and we will see you the next time here. Thanks for joining us here at Sinclair Baptist Church and our small group Bible study on the book of Nehemiah.